here, there was a lot of shell. And I think that's what we got here. Let me see. Yeah, oh, look at that. This is one of the best ones I found. Let's take a look at it. This is a glycimerous shell, but these come from the Gulf of California. I don't know, more than 100 miles away, 150 or so. But they made jewelry out of them. And you can see this is almost a whole bracelet by itself. There's another hand. Some more deer. Some things a little hard to make out for me. That's a very nice lizard man with, again, it looks like a forked tail. Putting the sun to my back a little bit, hoping for a little better pictures here. Both directions. Oh look, I just looked and noticed those over there. That's pretty nicely done too. Obviously brighter, probably made later. Some more down below in the shadow. A little bit further back, showing the whole panel. There you go. That's got a nice animal. Got real nice circles. Not quite sure. That guy looks like a butterfly man. Other animals and things above. Sort of a nice panel. It's a nice panel. There it is. I haven't seen any other petroglyphs up here on this mesa that's like this one. It's this old. It's completely repatinated. So this thing's very likely a couple thousand years old. Oh. See, it's a nicely made. Well, I always call these deer, but I was realizing recently it could be elk. Of course, these are for grinding seeds and corn to make flour. Oh, and I see an unusual one down there that I missed. I gotta go get that one. There's a person there. Here he is. This is the one I almost missed. Look at that. It's really quite deep, and that is obviously a person. Oh, there's a couple good ones here. Let's go have a look. This is quite unique. Quite unique. I use that term a lot, but it's certainly true. Look at the two people, probably a male and female, in negative relief there. Impressive one here. I stumbled across these, I don't know, 10 years ago. Very impressive. If you look, there are 13, and I'm calling them feet around the edge. You might wonder why 13 instead of 12. Well, I think the explanation is it's 13 lunar months. 13 times 28 is 364. I got a story about it, but first let's look at it. That is a lizard with a magical tail. What I have is that in 2017, a journal, I think it's called maybe the Journal of Arizona Archaeology, had on its cover a picture of 6 or 7 people flanked around this glyph. And it was a beautiful picture. And what bothered me a little bit, they said it was up on this mesa where I'd been coming to for years, and I didn't know this glyph existed. I'd never even seen a picture of it. So I was a bit embarrassed because I thought I knew the mesa pretty well. Anyway, I figured out where it was, and I came and found it.
Okay, this one is quite fancy. That's really a complicated abstract pattern. There's one of these in this area that appears in a book. a Molotki book or paper. If I can find it, I'll put it in. It looks like this one.
Several different ones. Sort of nice, but right behind it is a pretty cool one. A little bit faint, but let's see if we can get it. Look at that big lizard or horned toad, surrounded by a bunch of other animals. Got this geometrical stuff here. He stands out pretty well. Oh, this is a nice one. I've seen it before. The rock has a lot on it. Look at that grid. Some nicely made animals. Oh, and look at the size of the antlers on that guy. Well, so clearing here without man-made. Look at this big decorated rock. Lots of animals. Down we got it's like a, well, you could call it a line of dancers, or they could be herding those animals. Well, I almost walked by this one, but I just caught out of the corner of my eye. Look at that. It's dominated by that big lizard. Way out on the edge, this one. It's a beauty. I'm using a pole. What do we got here? Oh, that looks like a big pipette. A vertical, looks like a big jigsaw puzzle piece with things sticking out the side. They're common. There's whole papers written about them. There's a lot of them found around here. I think they're hohokam. I think there's also traced back to, down to Mexico somewhere. And there's a big squiggle next to it. We're near a river. And there's the big cross up there. Geometrical, some rounded, some straight edged. Very difficult to interpret. But high up there's an unusual one. Got one way up there. That's a fat lizard and a guy underneath it. Here he is a little closer from another angle. This one is known as the archer. I'll have to admit the first time I saw it I didn't notice that. But if you look, he's got a bow on the left and an arrow pointing to the left. And that's interpreted as a person with the bow. Doesn't really look like it to me, but that's what it's called. And this is big. This thing's at least 4 feet high. Not optimistic I'm going to find much in this sort of environment. There goes my hat. A nicer example of the red corrugated. So you got a nice view. Oh, look down there. I remember this. That circle down there. Go down and see that. That circle, I always thought would be a ceremonial sort of thing. So here's this circle we just looked at from the top. Look at that. It's quite a structure. Those are big rocks. Obviously placed in the circle. It looks like there's an opening over there, an entryway. Not bad. Just noticed this nice piece of pottery. Well, one of the better pieces we found today. Nice corrugated and good size. River stones wouldn't be here naturally. Somebody had to carry them up here. If they would have had a reason. Oh, look at this one. Look at the edge on that. That white color means it's been pounded. So someone was using this for a tool. That is a nice panel. There's some lizard men I see some spirally things. I see some animals, probably bighorn. And, here's this nice one I was seeing obliquely from the top. Certainly a couple lizard men and a couple animals. That's a nice bunch down there. There's an upside down bighorn, and I'd call that a lizard. A little better view of these. Well, this spiral is a beauty. I just came around the corner and noticed it. Just wandering around up here on this section of the cliff band, I can see a couple lizard men there on that rock. Nicely placed to look down at the river. Oh boy, there's a lot of them. So here's the two I saw from a distance. There's another one up here, and a couple more on top. That was where I walked down there below the cliff band. And here's another, I call that more a lizard. Look at the, well, it's a diamond pattern or squares if you look at it diagonally. It looks like a big piece of pottery there. Yeah, it is. Top edge. Let's at this one over here. This one might be a little bit bigger. Let's see. Don't want to break it pulling it out. There we go. That's a pretty good sized one. You always got a chance to uncover a real nice one if it's just been eroded from the ground. It was built on terraces on the side of this big hill. I think this is the one that was dug out in the 20s. And looks to me like it's been restacked a little bit here, but there are pictures of it, what it looked like after they dug it out, and there's pictures of what it would look like in the 80s when they came again, and maybe I'll be able to put up a comparison of the way it looks now, at least looking at this far wall. I think it survived almost exactly the same. What a beautiful spiral. That one's a beauty. Yeah, this is a nice one. I think I remember this one. It's a very nice lizard man. Ungulates, big horns, some structure in their bodies or big bodies, and topped off by a very nice spiral. Where are you guys hiding the petroglyphs? I know you know. Again, it's nice to run into these things on the flats because most things on this mesa are on the edge, both the ruins and the petroglyphs. So finding them here in the center is a lot of work. You don't know where to look. Not a bad grouping. We're out here on the flat. This is the best collection of petroglyphs I know on the flats. Can never miss seeing this one. Lots of these wavy lines here. But look at that, we got a few glyphs right here. There's lots of rocks, but these are the only ones with glyphs. So first, there's one behind it too. But look at that, that's a beauty. There's one over there. I have not seen that one before. See a couple over here. Oh, a few rocks. Look at that. There's been a fair amount of recent academic study about this place, interestingly enough. And what makes it interesting is it may be a Chaco outlier. Well, Chaco Canyon in New Mexico, a very well-known place, site of a bustling, sophisticated Native American civilization back somewhere around 800 years ago. One thing they have is some great architecture, really nice brickwork. And for me, that's what makes me think this could be a Chaco outlier. I think for the professional archaeologists, they look at a lot more than that. I know a recent study also looked at the type of petroglyphs around here versus those in Chaco versus those in the petrified forest. I don't know if that was conclusive either way. It's built right on the top of this little hill. They could certainly look all around if they wanted to. I'm sure they did. Came up a little closer, and there's a nice petroglyph right there. I believe that is possibly a little mother of game glyph. Oh, here's a nice panel. Oh, I remember this one. Look at this. Look at that design with teeth. And that almost looks like a frog. But I'm not sure. Obviously, it's got claws. Interestingly, a smaller one below, also with claws. And then, really very interesting, is the one that's negative relief. I really like to find those because they're not common at all. This is the one that's just really, I remember this one. This one is really incredible. Look at the claws, hands, and feet. Look at the headdress. And what the heck? It looks like a rocket launch. He's a little better. There's a humanoid up there. Yeah, those look like claw marks there. Don't they? Or someone keeping score. I think this is what they call a prayer wand, which is still, I believe, known to the Hopi, maybe still in use these days. Well, there's a foot and a big long hook. Something at the right, maybe humanoid. It's maybe a little foot. That's an animal track. If we go up, there's some more footprints. There's a couple of big, I'm guessing those are deer track, the used with the dots. Well, there's 3 concentric circles. Above it, a more complex one. I think that's a spiral. And with a long stalk, and I don't know, it almost looks like something climbing up it. Almost the same mother of game pose. Maybe some sandal prints. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. A few animals. A big guy and a little guy. Look at that. He's got a patterned shirt on. So what do we got here? Let's see. Oh, that's sort of a sun, I guess. This guy, I guess that's his head up there. Looks like one arm is probably the one on my left has come off. But it's odd to see his feet point in different directions. And I'm noticing a big panel up there. Got lots of glyphs. It looks like it's deteriorating, but it's looking pretty, got some nice ones. This panel's up there about, I don't know, 15 or 20 feet. I can't get very close. One thing I noticed again about that guy in the middle is he got his feet pointing different directions, just like that other glyph we saw. A little higher perch. Well, he's quite a good looking fellow. I like his face. I like his shirt. Look at that face. Using my pole to get higher. And just looking obliquely, I think I can see some stuff. So let's go have a look. Oh, they're quite faint. The animal down there. Here's a bunch of animals. There's some better ones as we go along. Look at all these people. More animals here. Wow, too bad this one isn't in better condition. Up here where it's not so faded, that guy's pretty good, that lizard man. And look at this. A well-made guy. He's got some sort of something going on as far as a headdress or a hat. Oh, well, I'm going to skip that for a second, but look at that. There's our guy with the legs pointing two different directions. Well preserved under here. Thank you. Another one right over here. Not so bright, but it's got some intricate stuff. Strong ears there, but look at the face. I'm going to have to get a close-up of that. And then next to it, there's some connected circles. Again, a lot of texture to it. Next to that one, see if I can move over a little bit. Next to that one, another sort of lizard man, maybe the same type. A nice bighorn next to it. And here's another guy with a very fancy headdress. I'm going to have to get some close-ups of these. And a close-up of that face. Bad. That is really vivid. Wow, look at him. Snake. Quick little scrolls. Man. Maybe bear tracks. That's a bighorn. There's an ancient snake. This one by Juan Chavez. Very, I have never seen one quite like that. Look at that, that's just spectacular. Rainbow on the left has sort of perpendicular spikes, and the one on the right has some lollipops and trees or arrows growing out of it. Alright, there's the next one. I found this one the only other time I ever walked out here. The footing's a little tough, so I think I will walk and take pictures later. Little geometric patterns. They have a certain symmetry to them, and they're all enclosed in a big rectangle. Again, that's a very nice glyph. Amazing because the artistry on it is so good. Virtually every element on that is worthy of a close-up. These little plus signs, all organized down in this corner. All these feet, nicely made, tracking right across. This spiral with a long tail. Look at these things. I'm not quite sure what they're supposed to be, but they're nicely made. It really is a beauty. Look at all that stuff. I don't think I'll try to interpret it. Out I'll just take a couple pictures. I didn't know I was going to go by it. But look at that nice, those are circles. That's not a spiral. The shelf here, I do not want to set my bottom out there. It's a little too far a drop. But I'll see if I can get a close-up of some of this stuff. Have a little reclining cocopelli over here. Yeah, there it is. So this is called a mother of game panel. There's mother of game in a birthing position. She's got sort of a fearsome look on her face. Look at the teeth and the eyes, the mouth inverted. There's a flute player up there. I'm not sure the guy on the top with the headdress looks like somebody important. Well, that's another female figure, possibly birthing scene, with probably a guy next to her. Another animal. A guy with a staff. This is the big one down here. You know, long tail like that, long body, often a mountain lion. Maybe you can see a little better now. Park that I've never been to. I have no idea. Whoa, here. That was an antelope.
What about this one? Now, this isn't a picture I took. It's a screen grab from a YouTube video. The presenter had traveled through some pretty rough country, fairly long walk, and he came across this beautiful petroglyph near the end. And I thought, man, that is quite a find. Could the internet tell me anything about this petroglyph? Search with Google Lens. Claim for a particular panel name. But when we look at the pictures, the match is exact. Not only that, many pictures matching the picture that I captured. This is pretty good proof that this is a public petroglyph that people know about. And this petroglyph is actually signposted from the road, which sort of surprised me.
See if I can walk there without breaking my neck on the boulders. But again, bedrock metates, a social activity, so they tend to occur together. I can see a couple glyphs here, a couple again archaic. Look at these, the line through the circle. I don't know. I've heard those called butterflies. I think I've heard them called atlatls as well. It's an important thing here. That's an old one up there as well. I spot a nice spiral up there. That is a very nice spiral, for sure. Accompanied by a few more minor glyphs. Obviously, this spiral is the star of the show. That's big. That's got to be, maybe 2.5 feet across for size. Look, there's some petroglyphs. And that looks like a man on horseback. So these are more modern ones. Probably, my guess is Yavapai. Pretty good view of him. A bunch more archaic marks on this rock. That could be a hand there. Lots of simple lines. That's what archaic stuff's known for.